You want a buddy, go get it in Rosenberg. Don't bring it to our city. Quit causing chaos in our city. Go to your own, you fool.
Okay.
You can't tell who already had the rabbits and who didn't.
And why would they ever tell us?
Right.
They just get caught by a neighbor.
Right.
Lake Jackson, Texas is the city of Karen. Even though it is situated in a rural coastal region, the city bans homestead animals like chickens and rabbits. Elderly residents and council members are holding a firm "not in my backyard" position against students who want to break out of the chains of indoctrination and instead gain a well-rounded, independent education. Municipal Nanny is terrified about breeding rabbits. The brilliant masters who rule our lives don't understand basic agriculture jargon. A breeding rabbit is just a bunny that gets to go home after the livestock show instead of going to the slaughterhouse. This is the third meeting about rabbits, and police officer J.B. Baker is trying to ban the bunnies. Will Lake Jackson succeed in snuffing out extracurricular educational experiences to appease oppressive so-called neighbors? We'll be following this developing story.
Got one more comment. Yes, sir.
Is this for a general rabbit requirement? Anything about rabbits?
This is for item 3.
Thank you. I'm Justin Pulliam. I'm at Driving Rosenberg. Mayor and Council, I reviewed this rabbit issue again and accompanied following after the chicken issue. And I really think that the city staff is playing a game. We're talking 5 meetings to get something so simple about whether rabbits. We're not talking about cats and dogs, which are much more of a disturbance to neighbors and members of the public than a rabbit. 5 meetings. This should have already been up with a drafted copy last meeting. And again, this is another game. And what did I see on the agenda? It read as, can y'all put the language up, please? It was something like, we're going to not discuss whether we're going to disallow rabbits. We're going to discuss the restrictions. Like the city attorney is making it mandatory that there must be restrictions on rabbits.
I am following council's direction, who asked me to come up with this list so they could discuss it tonight.
So 2 meetings ago, though, it was, we're going to have it on the agenda, and last week was just another, let's talk and get everyone upset for, I guess, an hour, hour and a half, because it got nowhere. And so, Mayor and Council, I said this last time, I'll say it again, rabbits, if we can't decide on an easy, positive activity for the youth to engage in, like it's bad outside. But we can't tell them, hey, join the FFA or 4-H and go do a rabbit, because that's illegal in Lake Jackson, Texas. How hard is it to just say you can have your bunny rabbit and do something productive in Lake Jackson? Not everyone has the amount of money it takes to move out in the county like I had to get out of y'all's nanny, oppressive, authoritarian, little idealistic city of enchantment, take everyone's money to put into the downtown, just for our preferred few, not even all the businesses, because the awnings we tore down, forget that. This facade is going to get torn down. If y'all cannot just pass the bunnies, no restrictions, if people complain, revisit it next year, whenever they complain. There's not going to be complaints about rabbits. I feel like I'm going to have about 2 or 3 years of no sleep, because y'all just don't get it. We're not going to live in tyranny here. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sherry Hunter. You're here all the time.
You have to address us. You can't.
He's here all the time. Number one, he lives in Rosenberg. He doesn't live in Lake Jackson. So I don't know why he comes up here and complains and certainly raps at everybody when he has no concern in Lake Jackson.
You want a buddy, go get it in Rosenberg. Don't bring it to our city. Quit causing chaos in our city. Go to your own, you fool.
Okay. Again, when you come to the podium, you need to address council. Okay, please. All right, so we're moving forward with what would be defined as a possible ordinance, or things that we add into the ordinance. And we still have the option as council of going forward with it or not. So that's still where we're at.
So a lot of children currently in Lake Jackson do have rabbits as pets. and they keep them inside their homes as a pet. And if we put that 4-H and FFA ruling, we would be asking them to give up their rabbits.
Well, they're already owning them against the ordinance. I don't know if everyone's gonna come forward and sacrifice all that.
FFA requirement is a great way to start, but I just don't want people who currently have a child that has a rabbit in the home to have to give that up, because it's traumatic for the kid.
It happens, I don't know if they belong to children, but we've had twice people have come in since I've been here asking because they got caught with rabbits and council made them give them up. Other ones, humane might just tell them they have to go and they give them up. So, but it's only on a complaint basis.
Right.
And it won't be a house-to-house search.
The Lake Jackson City Council could easily begin to restore individual liberty. All they need to do is remove the word rabbits from the definition of livestock. Instead, they're capitalizing on an opportunity to expand the oppressive nanny state, and they are making an enormous production out of it.
And so the first thing is, if you just want to let people run wild with rabbits, all we have to do is take out those two words from the definition of livestock, and we're done. However, if you want them to get permits, then there's more basic, in the permits are limiting them, no breeding, no slaughtering, not for business purposes, which
I don't think anybody up here is going to really agree to just take and rabbits off the current ordinance. Leave it blank. I personally am okay with doing a permit, but I don't want to limit it to the FFA or FHA.
4-H, yeah.
Indoctrinating children with municipal nanny permitting requirements is one of the most destructive suggestions I have ever heard from a self-described political conservative. If even the most untroubling educational experiences require red tape, there is not much hope for the future of our society.
Realistically, the permit fee would be to cover that inspection.
Right.
So that is something you could eliminate. You could probably speak to that at the time that it would require the officers if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, super simple.
No
permit, you can have your rabbits, don't breed them, don't slaughter them, can't have a business with them. You don't have to pay a permit fee.
And avoid a nuisance claim.
Yeah,
okay.
keep it clean, take care of them. I mean, let's make it really simple.
Okay, so we'll just go with the basics and not worry about the rest. And if something comes up later, we can go to the permit.
Yeah, if we're going to change the ordinance and everybody's going to follow this new set of guidelines that we're trying to put in place, then I agree it needs to be open to everybody, not just the FFA kids.
So what if we did it to where we allowed it open to everybody, permit it, leave it to 3 as a number? That's what you were calling a hutch.
Right.
Why do we allow ignorant people to rule us? Most of these municipal masters know nothing about agriculture and livestock shows. People who are serious about showing animals raise multiple animals so they can select the best ones to exhibit. Or they might bring different animals to different shows. More importantly, what if multiple siblings want to show rabbits? I guess they are out of luck? Sorry! You are the 4th child, and Master Mayor allows only 3 rabbits per household. Please play on your iPhone or traffic narcotics instead.
So on here where we're talking about hutch requirements from houses, commercial buildings, any number that we choose is pretty arbitrary, whether it's 10 foot, 20 foot, 50 foot, because again, my neighbor had rabbits literally on my house and I didn't know anything about it until they told me about it. So any number you choose there is going to be arbitrary.
I have voted no on this on several occasions because, again, there are people in our community that do not want rabbits or chickens.
As soon as the agenda item opened, the mayor created bias against rabbits with scare tactics.
A female can start reproducing at the age of 12 months for up to 6 years. Out of every 16-day period, a female rabbit can become pregnant if she's around a male. Gestation period is 25 to 30 days. So needless to say, rabbits can produce a lot of offspring. Also, if you do a search on feral domestic rabbits on the internet, you'll find out a few cities are struggling with rabbits moving away from nice and cuddly little animals to a problem for them. So just a few things to just make you aware of concerning rabbits, why some people don't feel like we should have rabbits in the city of Lake Jackson. Name
What
again.
if we completely oppose the rabbits totally? What can we do if y'all decide to do this? What can be done?
You can try to get a referendum on the next ballot to withdraw the ordinance.
Okay, and because I'd like to know that before I leave tonight if this ordinance passes,
Okay.
because I will be here.
So you heard the term breeds like rabbits? Okay, that's a major concern, okay? FFA and 4-H is about breeding. I have this gut feeling that there's a coordinated approach here between Congressman Seth and Blanchard to get chickens into the city of Lake Jackson. There's a lot of things I studied in some videos in previous meetings. Keywords and words count, words matter. Seem to point in that direction. This is going to become a backdoor approach to getting chickens and ducks just like Arrington. I know it is, it will happen. Seth told me so.
I think the chicken people will be back. I do think so.
Well, yeah, when you call them.
Well,
Yeah, I'm sure.
I did call them initially.
Yeah, right, yeah,
So,
yeah, so.
but I do support their efforts.
You know, I fully understand you do. I've got that, but I'm warning you, each and every one of you, this is just a backdoor approach to getting chickens and ducks as well. Who knows where it will go?
But I'll make the motion that we do adopt that to allow for the chickens and the rabbits.
Oh.
Can't talk chickens, just rabbits.
To allow, okay,
Rabbits.
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 Are on the agenda, chickens aren't.
it changed from the last time I saw it. That's fine.
Second. Can we,
Have
is
a
it time
motion.
to do that?
Do it.
Is it time to do
I'll
that?
take them if y'all are through with discussion. That's
Second.
fine.
But I'll make the motion that we do adopt an ordinance to allow for chickens and rabbits. And quickly, Sherry said, oh. Mayor says, can't talk chickens, just rabbits. Blanchard followed up with, to allow, okay, and had a big sigh, like he got caught. Rabbits, in disgust. It changed from the last time I saw it. He looks down at his paper and says, that's fine. Now that's very suspicious to me. Very suspicious.
I don't think there's anything suspicious about it. I mean, I'll
You
be
can
very,
think what you want, that's what I think.
I will be very clear and direct with you.
Yeah.
If the chickens come back, absolutely they will be supported. And the reason that he said that, my guess is, I'm not speaking for him, is because when we look, we keep referencing the Hamilton ordinance, it does cover chickens, rabbits, and ducks.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's,
before he could actually finish his last word, you seconded it. That's a coordinated effort.
If it was your state,
It was pretty messed up. I fumbled through that. We're gonna either amend or create a new ordinance to allow for these animals with the stipulations that council agrees upon. And that's gonna take some discussion.
I fumbled through that. We're either going to amend, create a new ordinance to allow these animals, quote, these animals. We're talking about rabbits, not animals. These animals, like multiple types of animals. It's riddled with problems, guys. You know, it is taking a long time for you to figure out what you want to do, which means you're not sure. And I can tell you right now, you'll probably be sorry at some particular point in time if you let this go through. Thank you.
Okay.
Just to be clear, there's not me hiding anything. I'm one of the most vocal people up here. I support the chickens, I support the rabbits, I support all of that. Anything that is the majority is going to win. That's how our society is set up in a representative government. That's how we have to do it.
Majority of the people, not just the council.
No, the majority of people, 100%.
Yeah, right.
We're only here to represent the people, and I will always support limited government, getting out of everybody's business.
That sounds a lot like your line.
That's
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide at all.
Your rhinos.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to have a normal conversation with you guys and try and understand where you're coming from to maybe meet in the middle. But when I tried that last time, your wife cussed me outside like a dog. So it's hard to have a conversation like that if there's absolutely no respect. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
I've stated several times, I personally don't want chickens or rabbits. I don't want those animals and responsibilities. However, when I was standing out at the polls, I was shocked. But that was the single most common question that I was asked. It wasn't how do you feel about taxes or how do you feel about this spending? How do you feel about chickens? That I was asked that over and over and over again. So I am very respectful, and I've stated this to both you and your wife, of your opinion, and I think that your opinion needs to be weighed in the decision. But there are a lot of people that feel the opposite way.
So you feel like you
So-
got elected by the chicken people, and so therefore
No, I didn't say that. I
therefore
just
you
said
owe
that-
them something.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
say that. Don't put words in my mouth. What I said was I was surprised at how big of an issue, how big of a concern that was from citizens.
I don't believe that.
Well, that's your prerogative.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
think-
It
I
doesn't
think-
change.
I think this really needs to be taken to the people.
Mayor, can we call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go down
I'd like to
to
make a motion that we end this discussion, that we can move on to more infrastructure, getting back to doing the work of the city. I second that.
I wasn't sure. You're talking about killing rabbit ordinances altogether.
Just let's go down the agenda. Keep going.
now, what is your motion?
That we end the rabbit discussion, the chicken discussions, and just get back to doing.
So your motion would be is not to allow, to continue, to not make any change to ordinance. Yes, something
Just
like
end it all together, and we just get back to our normal business that we was doing for, I was doing for the last 10 or 12 years.
So you don't want Sherry to bring back an ordinance to the next meeting?
what he's wanting is that basically is to make a decision tonight of if we're gonna have rabbits or not. Yes, sir.
Justin Pulliam, Rosenberg, outside of the city limits in the county where you can have rabbits. So I mentioned this earlier, and this is how government is supposed to work, is that we have constitutional rights. I keep there. Yes, y'all are, through your votes, hopefully would somewhat mirror the majority, if you will. But you also have to consider the right of the minority. We don't have mob rule. And I think this is a theory that some of the people on this board, not everyone, but a couple of them at least, understand. We don't have mob rule. The city must respect the rights of the minority. And in this instance, we're talking about people having something harmless. So if you're going to kill rabbits, I think along with that motion, you'd have to ban cats and dogs from your city. I think y'all are really looking into litigation for the first one that really wants a rabbit. So it's not just this majority rule or the not in my backyard rule. It's you have to respect the rights of the minority. Now, I go to council meetings all across the state, and I don't think I've ever seen business so dysfunctional. I think what's going on here, it's what I call the tail wagging the dog. Instead of the people, via their elected officials, determining the public policy. I'm sorry if I'm boring you, counselor. Instead of the people, via their elected officials setting the policy, it's the administration, maybe the mayor too, that wants something a certain way. And the administration plays these games like 2 meetings ago. There's, hey, have the ordinance ready for last meeting. That didn't happen. There was more discussion. Hey, let's have the things where we have the red line and have an ordinance ready to go. Now y'all are talking about dragging this into a 6th meeting based on this if it doesn't get killed by the former police officer, or actually current police officer, who's supposed to respect the constitutional rights of everyone. But again, not in my backyard. A few people say, not in my backyard. I don't think anyone's, correct me if I'm wrong, no one just came before this podium, before the council and said, let me tell you about this rabbit horror story I had. It's all fear mongering. Just for what? To kill dreams? To kill hope? Just send everyone through the little indoctrination thing? Look around. It's not this. And I get people who run for office. A lot of them have more money. They run in different social circles. And y'all talked about who came to vote. There's a lot of people in Lake Jackson who don't even have the time or they don't even go vote. Y'all are more than just representing the voters. It's everyone. It's the voiceless. Those are the people I talk to every day. They're intimidated to come up before here. Yeah, I get y'all could take me out or take me, whatever. I'm not scared. I'm not scared to speak about our rights or about the rights of the voiceless. We're talking about harmless rabbits. Y'all are wanting to kill it. The administration is trying to ramrod their way that they don't want rabbits. I don't know why, but they're playing these games to never actually let an ordinance come before this body. I hope what y'all will decide to do. I think the night's still early. What you can do, if this motion, I hope will die, will get killed. The next motion could be this, okay? Make a motion to lay it on the table. Anyone can do this. I know they like the city attorney doing everything, but I think this is basic enough. You'll have the Angleton example. Write up the draft ordinance. Bring it back before the closing of this meeting so there can be a first read, so this can finally move on, and maybe next time, within 4 meetings, have a vote on this. If not, y'all be the reputation for the most dysfunctional governmental body that y'all cannot even determine a most basic issue that really affects no one. But hey, not in my backyard. Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city manager and city attorney are unelected government bureaucrats. Unfortunately, city administrators often step over their bounds and try to set the public policy of the government, a function that is reserved for the council and the public. When the city administration wants to push a policy, they place it on the agenda themselves with a first read. They give propaganda presentations about why council should pass the ordinance. It then comes up for a required second read where it is passed without sufficient scrutiny by council members. But when the city administrators are against something, they play dirty politics to delay and derail the policy proposal. In this instance, City Attorney Sherry Russell is dragging it out over what will be 6 or so meetings. She could have had an ordinance ready 3 meetings ago, which they would have done if staff wanted rabbits. But since they don't want unrestricted rabbits, they are playing games. She's had over a month, and this single page is all she has produced. Yes, this is what we overpay these people to do. And check this out. They want to require inspections to own a rabbit. That's just sick. They've thrown out the Constitution in Lake Jackson.
I just want to say though that to just shut this down is to ignore what your citizens have brought up to you. To just say it's not important, they've brought it up to you, and there's a lot of emotion.
I'd like for us to move on and with business. Well, we don't have a full house here.
But this is the people's business, and it has. I mean, it's the 4th meeting or 3rd meeting or whatever it is.
I think it's the 4th meeting of the council, not the citizens.
But like, if you go back to the chicken meeting, if you go back to the rabbit meeting, that's what people keep showing up for, not the budget or the taxes or whatever, the actual important things. So it is important to the people.
And now you're going to make a motion to kill the whole thing.
I voted for us to do a study. Yes, I can do a study. I can do a study, and then I can change my mind once I get the study.
100%.
So just to clarify my second here, so for me to continue on my second, I must make sure I understand it. My understanding was you wanted to end this for tonight. What we just spent earlier working on is still valid.
No, he wants to kill it all, be done.
So that's not my second on that. Yeah.
So he's pulling a second.
Yeah, so my understanding was we move on. We already talked about this. I mean, we have already accomplished.
Can we go ahead and take a vote?
Well, there's not. You don't have a second, so he's removing his second. So, so your motion just sits there. It's okay. So you didn't get a second. So where we're at right now is that we've had a conversation and we've given the city attorney some direction to go write an ordinance.
I often hear comments that people in society are lazy. I wonder why. Government just snuffs out ambition and innovation. It's so hard to stay motivated in today's authoritarian society. Individualism has become a crime.